Welcome back to my channel. I'm Jackie Gith and I'm a feminine energy and inner work coach. I've been really inspired and I've actually changed my title recently from my coaching of somatics because I've realized that everything I've been trying to convey and teach women and inspire women to lean into is the feminine energy. So a brilliant woman, Alexis, her channel's All Alexis if you want to check it out. She has great teachings on this and I've been really inspired to a lot of her videos and all of her teachings, and I really am embodying this now myself more, the little things that I've let slip away, to be honest, and over time have really dampened my own state and allowed me to really fall into a bit of a pit. And I've been going through a lot of personal things, so I'm not really ready to share all those things, but I'm going to be touching on a few stuff, like little details for you, and how it's kind of this like embodiment of my own feminine, how it has really helped elevate me out of this in a really light and graceful way. Like I feel like although there's all this stuff happening, I'm still able to feel the joy and the bliss of life and to be just like in the moment, in my body, learning things all the time about life, right? So I've got notes. I want to leave you with 3 keys today. 3 keys you can start with yourself on your embodiment journey of feeling more like you're channeling your feminine energy, you're bringing your feminine qualities out. And before I get into those 3 tips of really like practical stuff you can do, I actually just want to preface this with saying that feminine energy and like how you're feeling is different to, because we're all made up of feminine and masculine energy. We all have those 2 inside us. And then there's also the topic of like polarity, of how those energies exist together really well and they attract together when they're healthy. And so in relationships that works really well too, which I'll get into some more future videos on that. But it's different. Feminine energy is different to femininity. So you can embrace your feminine energy even though if you're a tomboy and you like to wear shorts all the time. You can embrace your energy even if you love doing like crazy adventurous skydiving. You don't have to be like, there's no one image fits all to this. It's really just about the energy you bring to your life and how you respond to things from the masculine as well, how you receive and all those like details of that. So you can wear makeup, you can not wear makeup. It's really on how you feel about it. And you can do some inner work around that too, because sometimes the way that you dress and show up does help you feel better on the inside. So really just tapping into what's most authentic to you and what you feel like is the truest expression of you, really, because that's what we want to come to in the end, for you to feel like you can be yourself and have that inner integrity of the things you're doing out in this world and be fulfilled and happy with it. So let's get into the notes though. I have my beautiful soda water, keep my vocals hydrated, and I'm gonna make sure I'm focused. Awesome. So I made a couple of notes for you guys, because the main thing about tuning into feminine energy, we don't have to get rid of our own masculine, no, but we are wanting to amplify you feeling more into your body. And there's a beautiful quote, a woman that's in her feminine energy is a woman that's in her body. So a lot of the times people will say the masculine is more that logic, direct, chasing goals, going forward, and that uses more of your mind. And then the body is the feminine side of it, where you're more about the feelings, the intuition, the creativity, the more flowy feel of like unattached as well, because you're not having to reach that certain goal in a certain amount of time. You're more fluid around those sorts of structures. So in a world of today of like, you know, you being someone also ambitious like me, I'm assuming, you're wanting to have some goals that you've set that you are wanting to hit, and you can embrace your masculine as well. But this video alone is for you to be able to tap into that feminine more so you feel less drained. You have that surge of like inspirational energy come forward again. You have a sense of safety again as well, because like the masculine energy seems like it's actually supporting you. So let's get into the couple of things. There's 3 things that I've really focused on in this, I'm going to say hardship of a few months that I've had to help me elevate out of it. So those have been opening up. So tip number 1, opening up to receive. Now this one can feel hard at times when you've like maybe put yourself, it's kind of a metaphor, but you sort of put a wall up because you've maybe been hurt by someone around you, or you feel like you're also not really worth taking from other people because it makes you an inconvenience to them. But the feminine is all about receiving and the masculine is all about giving. So it's the analogy that Alexis gave, which I can't actually remember, she referenced from someone else as well. But it's a really beautiful just visual to get in your mind, is when the masculine, let's say a man in your life, throws you a compliment, and this is like a genuine, nice felt compliment, instead of just shaking it off and going, oh, yeah, whatever. Is that what you think kind of response? You literally just let it land, like you catch the ball and you go, oh, that was nice. And then you can respond in like a, oh wow, thank you. And really embrace it, like really let it land. And I know this is like such a overused example, the compliments, but I found the difference in imagining that they're like literally throwing you an energy ball when they're throwing you a compliment and you catch that energy ball, you can then fuel your feminine fire from that. So you can start to build up and allow all those things to receive well in your body and like get that fiery energy from that. That's literally how the energy is exchanged. Instead of pushing it away, putting the wall up, letting the ball bounce away from you and you're going, oh no, I have to do this myself. Like letting yourself receive those compliments, letting yourself receive help as well. So letting yourself be nurtured and cared for and taken cared for by the masculine. So like even just small things around the house, or if someone, even if they're not a man, asks to like help you pick up something, start to really let go of like the control of like, no, I can do it myself. I know I'm tough. Let go of that narrative a little bit and just let people help you. And it's, I let my little boy help me all the time, and it's probably softened that edge a bit for me, and then I let other people help me more and more as well. And I just recently, our brilliant friends, I went camping with my little guy, and yeah, the men stepped in and like set up the tent, and I was like so happy because obviously I'm watching my little one and like what's going on out in nature. There was like kangaroos wildly just there. Yeah, and I just allowed myself to really be in that and go, okay, cool, awesome, I'm being taken care of and these guys are amazing. And the brilliant thing is, you're not just you're not inconveniencing them, which you might think so at first, if that's your mindset. You're actually letting them use their masculine energy, which fuels their masculine energy even more to give more, right? So seeing you, how you respond to what they've given you, if you light up by it and go, wow, thank you so much, that really helps and makes me feel amazing and looked after and you're such a good friend, or whatever it is you say to them, them seeing you light up lights them up. Like it's a give, win-win situation. So allow yourself to receive. And I'll go through a couple more notes. So step 2, which is where my podcast really stemmed from in the initial 5 years ago, called Release to Revive, because I had this visual in my meditations all the time of like releasing control. And that's my step 2 for you, release control. Now, how do you do that practically? It is about bringing yourself to safety within yourself. So I'll give you a couple of tips to bring your body back to safety and feel like you're in a safe zone. Because if we're in that fight or flight mode that we talk about, when your nervous system is responding to things of like stress or danger, then you may be in that fight or flight mode for a long time, and a long period of time can really exhaust you. And a lot of the times when we have that like anxious energy around that as well, trying to control things is our way of like feeling like we have at least some form of control, especially when a lot of things seem out of control of our own ability to change it. So relieving control and releasing control, there's 3 things I'm going to give you to do that. Number 1 is to notice your breathing and your body posture, the way that you're holding yourself. Because I find myself doing this, and it's so simple. Like I'll be like sitting down and my shoulders are slowly starting to curl up, and I'm pretty exaggerating this now, but then it feels so like tight in here, and I'm looking up and I'm maybe looking at my phone or looking at my computer, and then once I notice how tense I am right now, I'm like, oh my goodness, I let the shoulders drop, I let my neck lengthen. And this is like where your nervous system and your vagus nerve, like the vagus nerve starts in that top spine and travels all the way through all your organs and touches all that area. Like that, you're compressing it when you're doing that too. So then when you release it, you're like, oh, feels so good. And there's multiple studies showing you the science behind posture and confidence and having more like of the happy chemicals and the hormones coming out as well when you're actually allowing yourself to open up with the body. So allowing your breath to fill you up, allowing your breath to slow down, because when we breathe fast into the chest, that again is a sign of that you're in your stressful fight or flight mode of your nervous system, and you want to bring it back to that restful parasympathetic ease mode, okay? So then to do that is to lengthen your exhale, to breathe deep. So notice what your breath is doing, notice what your body posture is doing. Tip number 2, under releasing control, is to really build up a practice of, I'm not going to say, it's more of a spiritual practice and an appreciation practice, because the more you do this, and the way that I do it practically, so a lot of the times I'll journal either in the morning or at night, depends on when I get the chance. And I'll journal on things that have worked well for me, and that I can see that like the spirit and the whole universe forces and energies are kind of working for me. That whole like mental switch of not life's happening to me, things are happening for me. And journal them out in that way. So maybe 3, I always do around 3, and then sometimes more flow through and it feels really good. I journal on those, so like what's worked out well for me today is a good question. But also tapping into like your own spirit in a way of through meditation, or even walking through nature and allowing your mind to switch off, allowing there no other consumption to be present, so you can get silent, so you can enjoy your own presence. And that's when you tap into your own soul. That's when you get deeper and you actually go, oh, there she is. Or maybe it takes you to go to a breath workshop to feel that, or a yoga class, whatever it is for you to tap into that spiritual practice for you, to feel that appreciation, that deep sense of peace and bliss from the inside. Because a lot of the times the distractions around us pull us away from that, especially in the consumer culture. So really learning how to switch off. Maybe you make it a nightly routine of like switching off and journaling, putting a candle on, maybe meditating for 10 minutes, whatever it is, taking a few breaths. Do something like that. That will bring you back to safety in your body, because then whenever you're out in the day, the next day, and you've done that practice, you can take that practice anywhere you go. Like you can go, oh, okay, hang on. Where's my body, firstly? What's my breath doing? I'm just remembering like what really matters. Okay, now releasing control. One of the brilliant things as well, back on this topic, releasing control. I used to be a, I'm going to use the word chronic people pleaser. And I probably still have some tendencies to do so. But I heard this and it really struck me the other day that people pleasing is actually a form of wanting to control other people's feelings. And that's essentially impossible because people will have their own feelings. Like they've done studies, or even like if you look at families with like siblings, people could have this exact same experiences and upbringings, but it's the way that they put the meaning to those things or how their body felt at the time that they get stored differently. And then they have totally different memories of those experiences. So you can't control other people's perceptions of you or of anything really. So you have like maybe some influence in some capacities. But when I heard that about people pleasing, I was like, wow, okay, because a lot of the times we slip into people pleasing because we don't want to disturb anyone. We want everyone to be happy. We want like there to be peace, you know, all those things. That's what happened for me anyway. And I also had this like deep fear of disappointing others, for not wanting them to be sad, or like me wanting to be the good person was for my ego. Yeah, and that really struck me because I was like, oh, shoot. I was trying to control that scenario when really what we can only control is ourselves. And sometimes you'll just have to be the bad person in someone's story. You'll have to be the villain and accept that. Even though you weren't intentionally doing something to hurt them. Like even if you're just starting to set some healthy boundaries, some people might see that as offensive. Like it really depends on the person taking it. And if you can communicate clearly and openly, then that's usually makes it better. But sometimes you just can't control what other people are feeling. It's their own right, really, to feel however they feel and want to feel. But there's another key I want to give you for releasing control. The visual I always had for this when I started my podcast, Release to Revive, was like holding sand. You know how when you're trying to like, when you've got your fists gripped like this, you can't hold the sand. Like it'll just run through your fingers and you've got like barely any left in your palms. But when you kind of pick it up with that soft and gentle touch of your arms and your hands, then you can hold a lot more. And same with like, if you want to imagine butterflies instead, they can land and sit there. But if you're trying to like, that's the kind of image I always had with like anything at the time, releasing my control, because I was like, right, well, that's realizing like that's out of my control, but I can control myself and I can control these things. So I'm going to focus on those. And it gave me peace because I was like, okay, like there's that. I'm not like attached to the outcome as well. I'm just going to play with this and listen to my own feelings of my own body. But yeah, there was one more thing I was going to tell you to get out of survival mode. And that is, it's kind of two things in one: speed and space. So allowing yourself to have more space in the day. But a really great way, again, Alexis inspired me into this visual, of having like a dial in your heart, you know, the volume dials that you have on like old school stereos or even your car stereo, of the volume, but you can control it. It goes up and down. I just dial your speed of how you do things in the day down by like 20%. Try that tomorrow, or even from now on for the rest of your day. Do everything just that little bit slower. And see what happens. Like it's such a good exercise. And that way you're creating those little pockets of space for you to just like pause, have a moment, and then you have another moment over there, and then you breathe and you notice your body more. And then space by the meaning in like physical sense as well. Give yourself some space in like either your home or maybe even in your neighborhood. You like to walk a particular route. And allowing yourself to really enjoy that space so then you can get out of the stressful areas that you might find yourself in from work or whatever it is. Or maybe even at home, to get away and give yourself space. But yeah, slow down your speed and find yourself a safe space. where you feel good. Coming to the third one, my last one of today, to ignite your feminine qualities, is to speak from your body. Now this one, I've always said, like, be in your body. Notice what your body's feeling. Notice what your body's saying. Somatic coaching, like that's what I was doing for a while. But speaking from your body, this has like blown my mind. And I've been trialing this in my own life, like again around more masculine figures in my life, just to see what happens and how they respond and how I feel around that. And it's really incredible. And because the feminine is more that emotional, nurturing energy, allowing that to come through the way how you say things will ignite the masculine again. Because if you're communicating in a masculine way, you're more about like doing, let's get this task done. It's very directional. You're like, oh, I need you to do this. It's very like telling, not asking as well. So starting to give you examples for this as well. And the reason for that is because the masculine actually loves to hear what happens in your body and loves to, again, see that lightness and see the feminine light up. So if you communicate that way as well, they're hearing that you're lighting up through the things that they've been doing. So one way is like to maybe write an appreciation letter, but focusing on the things of the masculine that they've been doing and how it's made you feel. So maybe like the way that you, whenever you take the trash out, I just feel so taken care of and grounded, and I just like can let go a little bit more, and I feel a really big sense of ease. So thank you. Or even just what's another good example? Like communicating how happy something makes you. Even just like if they give you a little brush on the shoulder or a little massage randomly, just being like, wow, like that really made me feel so grounded and at ease. Or another example, like if you're having a little drink of a kombucha and you're like, this is so delicious. Instead of just being like, oh my gosh, this is like the best smoothie ever, or kombucha, you could say, oh, this is like bringing my whole body alive and my face is lighting up and I just love sipping this drink. They'll store that more likely and then give you another drink of that sort down the track because they remember you lighting up so much from it. And this isn't about like faking it. Like actually tune in, because this is your own like exercise then of yourself tuning into your own body of like, how does this make me feel? And I'm going to communicate that openly. Be vulnerable. Be open. Right? Say how you feel. What a concept. It's kind of raining outside, so sorry if you guys can hear that. Yeah, if you have any questions, please comment below or send me a message on Instagram, Jackie Gibb. I'm going to be bringing out more of these videos, chatting about how we can ignite our feminine fire, ignite our qualities of our feminine so we can feel more at ease, so we can feel more like life is brilliant again, and so you can actually full force use your own masculine as well, but then have that feminine to balance it and not feel so burnt out and hustle mode all the time, to really balance the both of them, do the inner work to have that safety and feel good in both energies. Love you guys. I'll see you next time.